right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to geek out about integrations.
Yeah. And today we're tackling a big one, right? Making those Atlassian tools really hum. We're talking like best practices for making them work together, not just, exist side by side.
Right, exactly. Because it's one thing to just kind of have the tools, like talking to each other, but it's a whole other ballgame to have them singing in perfect harmony.
Total symphony of productivity.
Exactly. And that's that's the goal. And thankfully, we've got your notes here, which, by the way, are really thorough.
Yeah, seriously. Whoever submitted these clearly knows their stuff, because the first thing that jumps out is this whole strategic integration plan thing. Sounds kind of dot intense. Help me out here. Why is a plan such a big deal?
All right, think of it this way. You wouldn't start building a house without a blueprint, right? Same thing with integrations. That plan is your blueprint, your roadmap to success. It lays out everything, your goals, why you're even doing this in the first place.
Okay, so it's about figuring out what you actually want to get out of this whole integration thing.
Precisely. Are you trying to improve team communication? Do you want to streamline a specific workflow? Maybe just make everyone's lives a little bit easier. The plan helps you answer those questions, and then crucially, it gives you the steps to get there.
Got it. So plan equals less chaos, more harmony. But there's another thing in these notes that keeps popping up, and it's data consistency, data security. Sounds like we're laying some serious groundwork here.
Oh, absolutely. Data is absolutely the foundation of any good integration. Think about it. If your sales team over in Salesforce and your developers over in Jira are working with different versions of customer information.
Oof, recipe for disaster.
Yeah, exactly. Things can go south really quickly. So data consistency, making sure everyone's on the same page with the same information, that's priority number one. And then, of course, you've got security. Got to make sure that data is locked down tight. No compromises there.
Right. A data breach would definitely ruin the productivity symphony. But, okay, let's talk tools, because your notes also mention this treasure trove of pre-built integrations and ATIs. And I'm all about making things easier, so tell me more about this Atlassian marketplace.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's literally like an app store, but for your Atlassian tools. You need to connect Jira with ServiceNow so your IT and development teams are in sync. Chances are there's an app for that. And even if there isn't, even if you've got some crazy unique workflow, that's where the APIs come in. You can build something totally custom.
Yeah, I've been in situations where that custom stuff was the only way to make it work. So you've convinced me, all right. Integrations, they're important. But I need you to paint me a picture. What does a successful integration actually look like in the wild?
Okay, all right. So imagine this. A developer, they fix a bug, right? Normal day, right? But here's where it gets cool. That bug fix, it's automatically reflected in their Jira issue. And to top it off, your service desk is updated. Seamless, no manual updates, no confusion. That's the power of a really tight Jira ServiceNow integration.
Okay, now that's slick. But you're talking about connecting all these different systems. So how do we actually build this interconnected tech landscape? What's the architectural thinking here?
And that's where your notes on integration architecture come in. This is the exciting part.
Yeah.
It's okay, we have our blueprint, but are we building a skyscraper or a sprawling campus? A centralized system that's everything under one roof, very controlled. Or you can go decentralized, which is more like a network. Each system does its own thing, but they all talk to each other.
And what makes one approach better than the other?
Well, it really depends. A decentralized approach is usually more flexible, easier to scale, especially as your organization grows. But if you've got super tight security requirements, maybe centralized makes more sense.
So it's about choosing the right architecture for your specific symphony. But we're talking about people using these tools day in and day out. How do we make sure we're not forgetting about the human side of all this tech?
This is key. Because a system that's clunky or confusing, that's just going to create more problems.
Right.
We don't want that. User training, solid documentation, that's critical. We want people to be able to use these integrated systems without even thinking about it. It's second nature.
Exactly. It should just work. So we've built this beautiful system. Everyone's on board. Things are running smoothly. How do we make sure it stays that way?
Great question. Integrations, they're not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Think of it like an orchestra. You need to keep those instruments tuned, right?
Yeah.
So regular maintenance, that's vital. Check for compatibility issues, especially when you're updating software. Make sure everything is still performing the way it should, and that the integration still actually meets your needs.
So we've covered a lot. Strategic planning, data security, user adoption, maintenance. It's a lot. but it's clearly worth it, wouldn't you say?
100%. Because it's not just about like connecting systems for the sake of it. It's about connecting your entire organization. And that's where the real magic happens.
Yeah, and that's what I hope our listeners take away from this deep dive. It's about thinking bigger, seeing integrations not just as a technical thing, but as a way to unlock new possibilities. Who knows? Maybe it even leads to new innovations, new ways of working.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of it. And on that note, I'm going to go check out the Atlassian Marketplace, see what kind of cool integrations I can find.
Me too. Sounds like a plan. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time.
Yo.